One thing that is obviously against him is his lack of experience, which it almost doesn't need saying because we've said it.
But does the fact that he's been at Manchester or be in a different role?
So here's the other thing.
Give him an insight.
He's already been sacked from Man United once in the last 2 years. Welcome to Stretford, Paddock. This is Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King Sport, and today we are going to be looking at Manchester United's manager options for next season. Adam, you can run from it, you can deny it, you can shout against it all you like.
Ten Hag in.
All the reports that we're seeing at the minute
what he said
are going the way of Ten Hag.
What reports are these? Some fake-ass Marzio reports?
Yes.
Some fake-ass Marzio reports he hasn't even said himself.
Here's the thing, right?
I tweeted him.
He did say it himself.
I tweeted him for that.
He said
Where?
in an interview.
For who?
Soccernews.nl.
Who the fuck are they, Joe?
Oh, right. So they invented that interview.
So DiMarzio, one of the best journalists of our generation.
Other people on social media as well who have good connections, who have sources.
Who?
What?
You know DiMarzio is Fabrizio Romano's daddy, right?
Yeah.
If DiMarzio says something about that, I promise you Fabrizio Romano's tweeting, here we go and all that bullshit. Yeah, he's desperate at the moment, Fabrizio. He's saying, who was it he said was ex-Manchester United the other day that wasn't?
Oh, Ross Barkley.
Ross Barkley?
Okay.
So
You know
you're
what
telling
my
me
thing about that
he's calling Ross Barkley ex-Manchester United to get more retweets?
I saw that, right, and I thought, really?
But what has this got to do? What has this got to do with Manchester United's next manager?
No, that's what I'm telling you.
What?
Like, if Fabrizio Romano sees Daddy DiMarzio say
Daddy
that
DiMarzio.
Ten Hag's leaving,
Right.
he fires straight out those blocks and goes hard on it.
Here's what I'm saying.
Here we go.
The general rumour mill at the moment, regardless of whether you want to believe an interview that has literally got multiple quotes from a person in it or not, is
Stretford Paddock have got an exclusive interview on our website tonight coming up with David Beckham.
Yeah.
Who asked you on?
So you're saying that
who asked you on in
him
this interview?
is entirely fabricated, top to bottom. The whole interview
Looks like it. I tweeted him and I said, "Is this you?"
And what did he say back?
Didn't reply.
Right. So that's
So there you go.
So
He
that
didn't
confirms
deny it.
your
I
thought.
also tweeted him the meme of what's her name, Delia Smith.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Let's
He
be
didn't
having
come
you.
out.
Really?
Shook.
If he didn't reply
clever
to that,
though.
he's obviously in
So-
denial.
Bro, he hasn't confirmed it. He hasn't said it. That's some two bullshit websites. One of them quotes another website. Where's those quotes coming from?
Surely though,
They're made up.
he would come out and say, because he must have seen it was trending, and you're not the only person that would have messaged him about it. He must have come out or want to come out and say this isn't true.
But why? Because he hasn't said right at the moment. He's going hell for leather, just blasting links out there, just all these different stories. None of them to do with Man United.
It's trending.
He knows people are looking at his page, finding out what is going on. He doesn't need to deny it because it's not come out of his mouth.
It has.
It hasn't.
This is how interviews work. Twitter isn't the only avenue for a person to get their opinion across. Back in the day when newspapers were the king, everything was a written interview with someone.
Surely DiMarzio retweets it.
Okay.
Surely DiMarzio says, yeah, actually that is me.
Well,
surely he has to do that.
No.
He does.
Regardless of whether he has to or not.
All right, I'm going to research. What's the page that said that he tweeted him? Check if he follows them.
Soccernews.nl. Right.
Check if he follows soccernews.nl.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll get
Because he follows people from MEN, which is one of the worst
of your
things
opinion.
going right now.
He don't even
He
manage
follows
that.
Darmesh Chef.
Yeah, there you
Good
go.
lad, damn it.
He's a good lad.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. He follows...
Do you follow any of us lot? Do you follow me?
You don't follow that. Yeah. He even follows Al Chiringuito TV, you know, that Tic-Tac.
Yeah.
Follows them.
Yeah, that's
He
decent.
don't follow this bullshit website, bro. Telling you. People have got to start using their noggin in this thing.
Well,
Stop getting eager.
here's a bit of noggin for you. Man United had their worst ever Premier League finish this season, and we've got new owners who have replaced every other position between the board and the manager since they came in. It isn't out of the realms of possibility that a manager who's had this season might not be here next season.
Of course it
And
isn't.
there haven't been
I
many
agree.
people in the last 2 weeks, or certainly the last 3 or 4 days, leaning towards we're hearing Ten Hag staying. And there have seemed to be more reports suggesting that they're looking at other options.
No, I'm not denying that
Yeah.
that could be the case. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is people need to chill out with this
It's
DiMarzio
not just the
thing.
DiMarzio
The Marzio thing
Who
like,
else
is one
saying
thing.
it? Go on.
There's a lot of other journalists. I've seen it in The Guardian talking about potential options. If McKenna's high up on the list, that only came out in the last couple of days. If Ten Hag is to leave.
Is it Mckenna that we want?
Well, we're going to go through a lot of options and discuss pros, cons. Are they better than Ten Hag? Are things over for Ten Hag? is it sort of unsalvageable at this point, right? We're going to go through all of that. I mean, you can give all your opinions on all those people today.
But I'm saying Marzio ain't sent it.
That's fine. We
So why?
Your opinion on that is
Even
established.
right, putting the Marzio thing to one side, there's still a lot of rumours that Ten Hag might be done. And also, we've got an FA Cup final. Ineos could quite easily come out ahead of the FA Cup final and say he's our guy next season, which would be good preparation for this final, instead of all these rumours and nonsense sort of flying around. Yet no one's coming out and backing him. They've given interviews and said everything about all sorts of stuff, yet they won't just say he'll be the manager next season. Jim Ratcliffe's been talking about all sorts, and he could have said, Erik Ten Hag.
No, but what he has said is that, how can you judge any of these managers under that?
I know, but it's cryptic, innit? I understand your point. And he said, like, Arsenal showed patience with Arteta, but he's not said Erik Ten Hag will be the manager next season. And he could say that, and it'll be the end of that.
We basically have got until next week before they have to say something.
Yeah.
The only thing standing in the way of a decision is that FA Cup final.
Seems like that.
Because we can't go into next season.
We can't
go into next season with no manager. That's not a thing. You don't start a season with a manager. Really, you don't want to be starting pre-season without a manager. So we're going to find out whether Ten Hag is sacked, I think, in the next 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And if he isn't being sacked, why not say it? That's my worry.
The only thing I don't like. I hate the fact we're almost writing off this cup final like, we're going to lose anyway.
No, we're not. We're winning that.
See what I mean?
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be much more difficult to sack Ten Hag if we've just won that. I think people underestimate beating Man City in a cup final. If we can do it, I think we'll get a lot of public support for Ten Hag.
I think if they wanted to get rid of him after that, even if we win, it'll be all right. United fans aren't going to do anything about it. We'll kick off and argue and maybe post some tweets, but it's not going to be like, we're going to start getting games postponed like we did after the Super League thing.
Let's look at them. Let's look at the options then. Let's start.
But are we agreeing with me that Marzio hasn't said this?
No, I disagree with you.
I'm not saying.
So you've seen it come out of his mouth?
Since it, I love that.
That's such a.
Hey, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You two sound very similar sometimes.
I haven't seen it come out of his mouth. To be honest, I haven't.
Do you know where that's from?
Is it not
Yorkshire
Tropic
or
Thunder?
Brummie or something?
Pineapple Express.
Oh, Pineapple Express. That's it.
I seen it.
Since it, I thought it was like Yorkshire.
Yeah, that's one. Let's start with the man that we've discussed on this channel, maybe more than any other potential Manchester United manager down the years, and that is Mauricio Pochettino. He's always there.
My guy.
He was there
Your
when
guy.
Jose left. He was there when Ole was there. He was there when Ole left. He's now knocking about again at a time where we might be needing a new manager. Obviously, just go through his career a little bit. Managed Espanyol, Southampton, where he did very well. Then Tottenham, where he did pretty well, made them a consistent top 4 force. Then PSG and Chelsea. Just got sacked after leading them to 6th. I think they lost one of the last 15 games. Bit of an uproar there. But on the whole, a Chelsea side that is very much struggling. Backlinked with Man United. Rumours and reports yesterday coming out that he would be up for the United job.
Of course he would,
should there be one available. Adam.
I like Poch. I remember when we needed to get a manager and it was Ten Hag or Poch, I was pretty much like, just get whoever. I like both of them.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have anything against the appointment of Poch, but there'd be a small part of me that's like, just give it Erik to the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's how I personally feel, man. Give him till Christmas. Let's see. Because you can't tell me yet, and again, I don't want to just complain about injuries, but you can't tell me if we just had 40% less injuries.
Yeah.
Not 100%, because you're never going to go a season without injuries. We finish, higher up the table. Like, guaranteed we finish higher up the table. I like Pochettino. I'm a little bit sceptical about the whole situation now, especially after the PSG and the Chelsea moves. But you do look at both of those clubs and you go, they're both basket case to the clubs, which is similar to Manchester United in a sense. Although, with the new ownership and all that, who knows what it's going to look like from this summer onwards. I like Pochettino. I would support him as Man United manager. But I'm still behind Ten Hag.
So, in terms of downsides, because you're not hugely keen on Pochettino, are you?
Why?
Because I at least want the facade or the myth that maybe we can challenge at the very top under a manager. And maybe that could happen with Erik Ten Hag. But I think with Poch, it ain't going to. We're not going to challenge City and Arsenal and Liverpool with him as manager. We just ain't. We know that. The best we're going to do is get back into the top 4. And that might be enough. I think I at least want the thing where you think we've got a chance of challenging. And I don't think we have under him. He got 6 with Chelsea. Like, come on, man, that's not that great. I know they had one loss in the last 15 games or whatever. Got to an FA
they
Cup
also had
semi-final.
315
I understand
players.
it was a mess, right? It was a mess there. 2 seasons at Paris Saint-Germain, I think. Okay, he took over from Tuchel during the season, but only 2 points off top, and he didn't win the league. And now, 2 years after he was linked with United, those 2 years since he was linked with us, he's not really done anything to make me think he's now better manager or he's ready for United. Yeah. Now we're going to get him. I just think that I'd rather we stuck with Erik Ten Hag, and I wouldn't even stick with Erik Ten Hag till Christmas. I think that's insane. I'd give him another season at least, because I think every time, not just us, but a lot of clubs change the manager at Christmas, it doesn't do the desired effect.
No, I don't mean change it, but let's see where we're at.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
If we're mid-table, I understand the point that he's probably going to get sacked or whatever. But Pochettino, for me, is okay. But I don't think there's anything really where you look at Pochettino's CV, what he's achieved, what he's done, that makes you think, yeah, if we're going to get back to the very top, he's that guy. No. Now, other managers might not be, but we don't know with some of them whether they will or not be. With him, I feel like you know full well he ain't going to get you challenging Pep Guardiola. He's just not. He's not got it in him.
Do you not think that, though, managers these days, and this isn't just Pochettino I'm talking about, although you can probably apply it to him, like we do judge their whole career. Like, managers have... How old is he? He's not
52,
that old.
about 52. He's the same, similar age to Ten Hag. Similar, not the same.
There's still so many years left in him.
I hear that.
We might have only just seen the potential bit of it. There might still be a lot more to come from him. He's been at 2 clubs like PSG and Chelsea, which are absolutely psychos.
Yeah,
I understand, and I know Steve met him and he said he's charismatic, and a lot of players think very highly of him, and he's done a lot of good things, and you can't take for granted what he did at Spurs, regularly in the top 4 and finishing second and finishing third, especially considering his budget in comparison to other clubs wasn't anywhere near the top level, and he got to a Champions League final, which, let's remember, isn't that easy, as we'd all be doing it. We can't even get out of the bloody
Ten Hag on the way.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm dismissing him totally. I just don't see him realistically doing any better than maybe getting you into the top 4. Yeah. I don't see him winning out, and I certainly don't see him challenging for a title. If you give him a 3-year deal, I don't think at the end of those 3 years you're going to be challenging for the title. I don't think he's got it in him. That's my opinion. Poch, he seems like a nice guy, but
it's hard to know, innit? I mean, you can never know. He's never managed a club where you go. I mean, obviously PSG, he should have won the league that first season. He didn't. He did win it the second season. Everyone else he's managed aren't expected to win the league. So it's hard to know exactly what his upper limit is, because Tottenham were... I mean, in fairness, they could have won it when they were under him. Like, they finished second and they...
Finished third in a 2-horse race.
Yeah,
they did, didn't they?
They could have won it that season, 2016 season, when Leicester won it, and they didn't. But he was close.
But it was Spurs as well.
But it was Spurs as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Chelsea...
it's in their DNA.
Yeah, and this Chelsea that he came into were disastrous, terribly over sort of staffed in terms of players. Loads of players that probably aren't good enough. Loads of injuries as well, so picking a first-choice team all season has been really difficult. And he's got them European football. It's a decent achievement. But
can I just ask, if he had won like an FA Cup at Spurs or a League Cup at Chelsea, did your opinion change on it?
A little bit.
And is that not stupid?
No, because I think you can look at one of the reasons...
Stupid, but one of the reasons Ollie said, like, some of these trophies kind of covering up some of the stuff.
Sometimes, but there's certain games I remember with Pochettino where I was disappointed in him. Not disappointed, because one of them was against us, but you remember when we played him in the FA Cup semi-final, they took the lead with Dele Alli, and it's like Mourinho just sort of knew what to do. And I thought when he went toe-to-toe in that big game, he didn't have it in him. When he went toe-to-toe with the Scousers, they didn't turn up.
No.
In the Champions League final. I don't think the Scousers played that well in that game, but they were pretty comfortable because Spurs didn't turn up. And I think when you want a manager at Manchester United, you at least want the idea that he can win you something. And I think with Pochettino, you kind of know he won't. That's my issue with him.
Especially in big games, big finals and stuff. Certain managers have just got like weirdly good records, haven't they? Like, I know Pep's a bit of an outlier because he always has the best team in those finals, but he's lost like 2 out of the 17 finals he's been in. Jose Mourinho, I think, has lost 3 of the 14 finals he's been in. Like,
Klopp's lost a lot of finals.
Klopp's
lost a lot of finals.
Spin at one point.
I think he's and that was something he had to overcome with Liverpool, and eventually he did. But even at Liverpool, I think they lost as many finals as they won. But Pochettino's got this thing where, like you said, in a big final against a Pep or even a Jose, if we're in the Europa League final or whatever next season, and I don't know what Jose's going to be doing, but you know what I mean? You would trust the other manager to outsmart him, outwork him, outthink him, have that aura over him. I just feel like with the pressure that you get at United, those last 3 or 4 seasons at PSG, at Chelsea, are going to cost him a lot of
If you
sort
look
of
at him in the
public
big
opinion.
games with Chelsea this year, look, I know they've lost a few, but some of the best games of this season were Chelsea in the big game.
Yeah, but then they lost them all.
They didn't lose them all.
Not all right, they lost the League Cup final. They lost against Man City in the FA
semi-final,
Cup, in the semi-final of the FA Cup, being the better team in both. And that's what I mean. That little, and again, it's probably as simple as if you had someone that was better than Nicholas Jackson, you'd have won them both, or Conor Gallagher, you know, whatever. But you get a reputation of you can even be the better team in those big games, and you still lose.
Is there not something
That's a
though
worry.
in the? You look at PSG, you look at Chelsea, right? He went into those two jobs where both boards spend huge amounts of money on players that come in and are kind of already expected to do the business, right?
Yeah.
I know PSG have kind of changed their outlook now. They go with a lot more younger players. At Spurs, he was working with young players that he could improve, impress upon, and kind of make them his guys. Isn't that kind of what he's going to be asked to do at Manchester United?
And I think that's his biggest plus
does he
point.
not suit that role more?
Yeah.
And would you not see more of a Poch as you did at Spurs than you would see at a PSG or a Chelsea because you're dealing with those younger players?
I think so, definitely. I think that's the biggest selling point for me on Poch. The thing I do like about him is, let's say, you know, Casemiro goes, Varane's obviously leaving.
Let's say.
Well, we don't know. We assume Martial's probably going.
No.
Well,
Like,
he is done.
you're looking through that team now. Maybe even a Lindelof will go. You've got.
Don't
we're
say
going to
it in
get
front of
a
Adam.
rumor is Romano saying we're going to get a new left back. I don't know if he'll replace Shaw,
No, I
or
ain't
we'll
got
certainly
a
have people in there. We're going to get.
I don't believe it until I
think it's
Marzio
fell off,
saying
you
it in
know.
a Dutch
We're
publication.
going to get.
Then we'll know.
midfielders. You've got the likes of Mainu, Garnacho, Hoyland.
Fabrizio's fell off, man.
You say this
But
all
when
the
he says
time,
stuff,
fell off.
and he
the
He
thing
hasn't.
is,
I'm
he
still
hasn't.
going to go live when he says something.
Because when he
Yeah.
says stuff, it's not wrong. He doesn't usually get stuff wrong. He'll just repeat.
He got
news.
ex-Manchester United Ross Barkley is definitely
Yeah,
wrong.
that's
but
a mistake. That's not.
And the fact
it's
that he
so-
never deleted it
That's just
tells
an
me a
error.
little bit of something about the person behind those tweets.
Oh, shut up.
It's true.
What are you reading
Bro,
into that?
every tweet you tweet bangs, yeah, but you're so desperate for a couple of retweets you can't delete an ex-Manchester United Ross Barkley.
Anyway, I think United are
Come
going to
on,
have
we would delete it.
Yeah, I agree. I think United are going to have a young squad that would suit Pochettino. I agree with that. Getting them motivated, getting them working
Hoyland.
together.
Imagine what you do with Hoyland.
Yeah, and I think for me that's the biggest selling
But
point.
I think, you know what the issue I've got with that? I agree with what you said to a certain degree, but we're talking about, it's not even 5 years ago when all that was happening. It's probably a little bit longer because last year at Spurs, things went a bit south. It's 6 years ago he was doing that.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me Zerbi is better than him, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm just
He's
pointing out.
won about 1 in 20.
Right, I literally was never going to say that. So I don't know why you've just suggested
say that for you,
It was a
dickhead.
segue, you dick. It's a segue. I'm a professional, Jay.
Let's talk
I
about-
seen him scroll down to the Zerbi. Adam went into action.
Threw me with that accusation. I thought you were going to do like you did with him with that DiMarzio thing, start having a go at him.
Yeah.
It's your fault he didn't say that.
Yeah, it is.
Let's move on then. Let's talk
Marzio,
about.
let's be having you.
Let's talk about De Zerbi.
Where are you?
Because he's of a similar sort of, not style to Poch, but of that same kind of category where you go, he probably doesn't have the silverware to back up, you know, that's not why he's getting the job. He's not a Jose Mourinho type of manager, is he? He's not coming in with accolades and this, that and the other. He's coming in because he got Brighton playing brilliant football last season. This season's not been so good, but he's seen as a head coach rather than a manager. Ineos can run Man United as a football club, and he will make players stand in good positions, make good passes, make good runs, and win games like that. Like, he's seen as someone, I think, who is the modern, you are the coach and we run everything else kind of guy. Do you think that's something that Ineos will look at and go, actually, this works? We've got Ashworth, Wilcox, Barada doing their shit above him, and he can just make the team play well.
Probably, yeah. I mean, he's a very good coach, isn't he? He gets them playing very good football.
Yeah.
They haven't won a game in God knows. Like, bro, we beat them.
Yeah, that's true. For the first time ever, by the way, under 10 hours.
Like, they've won 2 of their last 13 games, I think it is. And look, it's Brighton, but
It is Brighton.
I know there's been injuries to the likes of Matoma and Ferguson and stuff, but they have also been available. And this is a Brighton that finished in the European spots. I know we're probably kind of putting a lot of pressure on them now, but have you seen that kind of? I don't know. He's obviously a very highly rated coach, but I genuinely didn't know what to expect if he arrived at Man United.
Yeah. What do you?
Because he's never been under that pressure. Who's he coached? Benevento, Sassuolo, and Shakhtar.
The only reason I'd
Yeah.
prefer him, and I'm not saying I do before you start, the only reason, like, with De Zerbi...
So you're saying you prefer him?
Yeah, obviously.
You can say that if you want, Jay.
No, I know. I can say what I want. I'm a grown man, 44.
No, we give you permission to say it.
I don't need your permission.
Me and Adam grant you permission to say that you like
What you
Zerbi.
want. Yeah, go on.
I don't need your permission, but I'll say it anyway.
Go on then.
I was going to say it before you gave me permission. There is the unknown element with him. He might be good enough.
Yeah.
I feel like with Poch, I know he isn't.
Right.
With De Zerbi, there's a slight doubt that maybe if you gave him a job like Manchester United, because Brighton, no disrespect to them, aren't that big. If you gave him a top job at a big club like United, despite our faults, we're still one of the biggest clubs in the world.
I feel like we write managers off too soon.
He might rise to that occasion. He might be good enough.
You're saying Poch is like a sort of
busted flush,
10 grand scratch card, and De Zerbi's a lottery ticket.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy.
You're more likely to win with Poch, but you know the ceiling is here.
Yeah.
Whereas De Zerbi, you don't know, but you could be a fucking millionaire.
I mean, he could just, win nothing.
Yeah.
He could be terrible. But he might be that guy. And he's only 44 as well. He's only young. He's 8 years younger than Poch, so still very much in his infancy. This worries me, though. He's got like a Tommy Docherty record here of sticking around for about 18 months and then he falls out of everyone and moves on.
That is a bit weird. In the last 10 years, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different jobs.
He was at Sassuolo for 3 years.
That's even more worrying, the fact that he's managed to have a 3-year stint in the middle of all that and he's only 44.
Yeah. He's someone who doesn't stick around a lot. Some of that you can... Shakhtar, obviously, there was what was going on with Russia and Ukraine, so that's maybe...
One of them's 85 days. What went on there?
Who the fuck did he manage first? Darfo Barrio. Yeah. What are they?
Well,
exactly.
I think they're a lower league Italian team, aren't they? But he's a very good coach.
X Factor once, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was actually. I think he came third. You can get him on Cameo now. But he's obviously a good coach. My worry with him, like you said, is the pressure is just next level.
Yeah.
There are cracks in people's armour that from the distance of Brighton you cannot see.
Can I just ask
when you come to Man United, everyone is fingering those cracks like you wouldn't believe. Do you know what I mean? No, that is true, though, isn't it?
Now, we kind of don't know what to expect, but with the introduction of the Ashworths and the Baratas and all them fellas, I love a Barata.
He is just a soft cheese to you at this point.
Barata.
You know, all them fellas,
yeah,
aren't they going to make it be so there's less pressure on the manager now?
It's not, but they'll do it internally. But they aren't stopping people on social media calling him a fucking Shockwaves hairstyle dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Like, all the things you're going to see, like, it's going to come out.
Shockwaves.
Yeah, and so does De Zerbi. He's got that, do you know that blue one in the thing that you always just see on the side?
Got that green hairspray as well, what is it? Not VL5.
Weller. He's got Shockwave's hair gel and he's got his Weller hairspray. But all these things that like Emery at Arsenal, he just became good evening, and that was him. And whether that's a little bit racist, a piss take, nothing to do with his managerial thing, that is what he became, isn't it?
Yeah,
he was a silly bloke who couldn't say evening, and he was a fantastic manager.
He had the last laugh though, didn't he?
He did, but do you know what I mean? Like these things, you think they're silly, they think they're nothing.
Like Arsenal would have won the league if they'd have beat Villa.
Yeah. And you think they're nothing and they're just whatever. But those things snowball and become what all a manager is. By the end, all Ole was is 80 million on Maguire and no tactics, just vibes. That's what defined him. Like these things will cut through eventually. He's never stayed anywhere.
I've seen a bit where he said, you know what defined Ole? He said in an interview that Fred and McTominay were like guaranteed 8 out of 10 players, and I just thought, oh my god.
But he's got to say that.
McFred is another one that defined Ole. But there's a few things that each manager has. Ten Hag is not changing tactically, and Anthony. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone has the thing that brings them down.
Also,
what
is this a thing where we don't count penalty wins as wins?
I'm sick of that. I think that's
absolute bullshit. You said we won't beat Brighton. Do you not count the penalty wins?
Oh, I mean in the league.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
No, I thought it's a thing. I saw it become a thing. Like I've seen people doing it with Rodri. Like he's not lost a game for 2 years or something, and I was like, "Why?
How come you ain't still in the Champions League?"
Yeah, why are you not in that final?
No, I meant just in the league. It's the first time
a thing that I missed. Like,
so
England are class at tournaments. England are so good. Never lose.
No,
a draw a lot.
There's a spell for about
go out. We're true to Euros.
Yeah, there's a spell for about 15 years.
We're joint Euros holders.
Shared it. Remember we used to share community shields?
I hate that. I'm still not over 99. That was never a penalty. Anyway, go on.
So De Zerbi, are you a fan? Yes or no?
I like him. I think he's a very good coach. I think he does very interesting tactical things that maybe he could do better with a better selection of players. But I think there's a lot of question marks there. I think just as there are with Poch, just as there are with Ten Hag. And a lot of this leads me to just saying, stick with Erik.
Like every single week, this episode of Off the Bar is brought to you by Green King Sport. Now, Green King Sport have got over 900 bars across the country where you can check out every minute of the action. Every televised Man United game will be on there, and also looking ahead to a summer full of action. You've got the FA Cup, you've got the Euros, you've got all sorts of stuff to check out at your local Green King. And because there's so many of them, you're always within walking distance.
And let's be honest, watching football is way better with friends and family. So all the action, the cup final, the Euros, make sure you're heading down to your local Green King to check them out and every little bit of the nail-biting action. We all know how busy the pubs get around the Euros, so make sure you're booking your table and download that Green King Sport app.
And like Adam said, on that Green King Sport app, you get exclusive competitions and discounts whenever there is a game on as well. So check the link in the description. Thank you once again to Green King Sport for bringing you Off the Bar. Now back to the show.
There's one caveat where I want Zerbi. He brings Danny with him.
Oh, yes.
You know.
Danny cool.
Yeah. What are you shaking your head for?
Danny.
If he brings Danny Welbeck with him, I'm Zerbi in.
He just
That
signed a
is the
contract,
dream.
though. He just signed a new contract.
Ah, well, there's small print there. Don't you worry about that, son.
Very
Hey.
small. Almost as small
I
as
love
his goals
Danny
tally.
Welbeck.
What? It's not just about
Why are
scoring
you being
goals.
rude about Danny Welbeck?
How many players have scored in the Bernabeu?
Yeah. No,
Probably
babe.
hundreds.
No.
Man
only
United?
2. And he's one of them.
Whatever. Right, it's Ronaldo, Di Stefano and Welbeck. And they
Yeah,
did 3.
exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Right.
Get your facts straight.
Let's move on. And this is a name that's sort of obviously only come about in the last couple of years, but realistically has started to build
I'm on it.
massively in the last week or so. Kieran McKenna.
Love this.
Now, obviously, we've got his managerial record there. He's only ever managed at Ipswich, which we'll get to. Crucially as well, for anyone who doesn't remember or, you know, whatever, was the assistant manager at Manchester United or head assistant coach, whatever it was, under Jose Mourinho and under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was one of the sort of the through lines
And if
there.
you believe the way things went at Man United, according to some reports, like him and Carrick were excellent with training.
Supposedly.
And then Ollie would ask Phelan what he thinks, and then they just go back on
just do
whatever
that.
they did in training.
I love that. I love the way it's changed his narrative. Like a couple of years ago, it was like McKenna didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
We got rid of him. Then he smashed it as a manager. Now people go, actually,
No, that came out just
Actually,
after.
like-
Ollie
Well, just
had
on
left.
smashing it as a manager, just again, in case anyone's not aware, managed Ipswich, who hadn't been in the top flight in, I think, 24 years. They were in League One at
Really?
the
Is that
time.
what it's been?
Something like, I think it's 2000.
Herman
wasn't
Hridison
it?
days, isn't it?
Yeah. They're in League One at the time. He ended the first season there very strongly. His first full season there got them promoted automatically. I think they scored the third most goals of any team in the Football League that season, something like 96 goals.
Brilliant.
Then last season, or this season, as it still is, into the Championship. First season there, had the second best start to a Championship season ever. Only Leicester this season had a better one after 15 games. He then gets them promoted automatically ahead of the likes
Phenomenal.
of Leeds, Norwich,
Clubs
Coventry,
with
West Brom.
Premier League money and
Exactly.
parachute
Yeah,
payments
exactly.
and all that.
And gets them
Exactly.
promoted back to back in the Premier League for the first time in 24 years. An exceptional job. He's 38 years old, very young manager, clearly up and coming. One of those in your Zerbi camp of could have an endlessly high ceiling.
yeah.
Adam, I'll start with you.
Let's play a game though. How many Ipswich players can you name from the Premier League era? Go.
From
I
the
said
Premier-
Herman Hridison, you're next.
Craig Bailey.
I'm absolutely struggling immediately. Did Marcus Bent must have played for him at some point?
You could have said Darren Bent as well.
John Walk.
Darren Bent.
Chris
I already
Kiwomya.
said Darren Bent. You're out.
Chris
Oh.
Kiwomya.
Matt Holland.
Luke Young. Is that even a person?
I win.
You won, bro.
Well done.
Well done, son.
Adam, Kieran McKenna.
That's annoying, that.
He's
Out of all these three, yeah, I'd like Jay. I like the organic
I
story.
wouldn't mind
of it.
that.
This guy was at Man
Me too.
United.
he for me is the most exciting one.
Also,
I like this.
he's from Northern Ireland, yeah. We haven't had anyone from over that way
That's the real quiz.
be a
That's-
Man United, like, come in and just
Do you know what I
fucking,
mean?
yeah.
This club was built on the likes of Sammy McElroy and George Best.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Talk to me about him as a what
As a
you've seen,
person.
what you've seen from him
Mate,
at United and after.
For me, the Championship is the greatest league in the world, right? I've genuinely said that before.
In terms of what though? Because not in terms
Everything.
of quality though, is it? No.
Drama, excitement.
Excitement,
Difficulty?
mentalness. Everyone can beat each other. Yeah, to get promoted from that with a team that just come up is an incredible achievement. But nevertheless, he's not been tested at this level.
Could have had Craig Forrest.
You still thinking?
Yeah, man, that was he was a goalkeeper when we won 9-0. I'm fuming with myself then. Just ruining my day. So you two talk amongst yourselves, man. That's it. Don't fucking.
So yeah, I just don't know what to expect. But out of all of these, stick him top of the list for me. If we are going to get rid of Ten Hag, let's just go whole experimental.
Yeah, I'm on
Full
Macca's
concept
bus.
album.
Yeah, I think it's time, innit? Tubular Bells time. Let's do it.
This is the White Album. This is Dark Side of the Moon. This is Tubular Bells.
This is it,
isn't it?
This is just concept
This
album.
is Beyonce
Let's
Lemonade.
Just try something different.
Let's just Beyonce doing Cowboy Country or whatever that album's called.
This is that.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is Garth Brooks.
You think it was
being
vibes on
Chris
the
Gaines.
Wait until you see this. This is going to be vibes.
But just genuinely on him then, there's something that feels exciting about it. All reports are that he's a United fan, which
that's what matters.
Doesn't necessarily matter, but it's something in the colcolumn of a link to United.
Liverpool fans. He's managing us.
He's been here before. He's done truly exceptional things with Ipswich. I think it's like 8 or 9 teams have ever done what he's done. With Ipswich.
Do you know what puts me off though?
But let me just detail some of the negatives.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility. You could just see him crying in the dugout one day.
Yeah.
Just broken. Like, he's only 38. He's trying his best. He was having a happy life at Ipswich. Everyone loved him. And now he's just watching us get battered at home as the crowd boo him. And he just starts bawling.
Cattermole, he was playing for Borough and they were getting beat like 8-0 and he just started crying on the pitch.
I have this slight image in my head that this could happen to the kid.
Do that, you know.
Do you know what I mean? I would. And he's a United. Do you know what I mean? He's a United fan, so it'd hurt him.
But genuinely, obviously that is genuine. But just to add on to that, then, one thing that is obviously against him is his lack of experience, which it almost doesn't need saying because we've said it.
Does the fact that he's been at Manchester, albeit in a different role,
so here's the other thing.
Give him an insight.
He's already been sacked from Man United once in the last 2 years. There's no one really thinking about that. United literally sacked him fucking.
We didn't sack him, did we?
Well, he went with fucking Solskjaer.
We didn't sack him.
Well, all right then.
That.
He's left Man United.
I think he went, I want to get a full-time job.
Well,
I love that.
It does look like that. So then he's got nothing to fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
He's been through it. Do you know what I mean? Sack me again. I'm what? Think I'm bothered.
But genuinely, what do you like about him? Other than just the unknown? Because that's like...
I just feel like, right, he's absolutely smashed it at Ipswich. Ridiculous levels. Like, barely any money. Back-to-back promotion. Like Macca was saying, you've got all them teams that have got big dough in the Championship. Ipswich haven't, and they've got promoted. He knows some of these players. He's worked with some of these players. I think that does help you a little bit. I know some of them he doesn't, because they've arrived after he left. But he does know some of them. And he gets, like, the job, the size of the job and all that. Because he's been there. He's been in it. I know he hasn't been the manager, but he's been a coach. He's not, like, going to go and go, oh, my God, this is far bigger than I expected. So there's that. And a lot of it is the unknown element. He might be the greatest manager ever.
Also, does it?
He might, probably not, but you don't know how good he is.
A lot of people will go, can he manage big egos and that? Well, the whole thing is we should be moving away from that model.
Good point.
Yeah.
We shouldn't just be buying the big players and the big stars and all that. So we shouldn't be worrying about how he can handle a Cristiano Ronaldo, because we're not going to be signing those levels. Like, we're going to be signing younger players looking to come up.
I think you have to do that. Look at the two teams in the last decade who have gone from being outside the top 4 or challenging for top 4 to challenging for titles. It's Liverpool and Arsenal. Neither of them were stacked full of big names and big egos when that manager got there. Look at Arsenal now. He's built it up from... I mean, Odegaard had a bit of an ego because he moved to Real Madrid at 16, but he was sort of struggling there. You look at the back 4, all of them are either from smaller teams or young players who were brought through. The front line is the same. Liverpool were the same. Their key players going into that were like Salah, who may have had an ego, but it was a smaller player playing at Roma. You know, Mane came from Southampton. All of these players, they weren't megastars that we've been signing. Di Maria's, Ronaldo's, Casemiro's.
That are going to go, hold on, who are you?
Yeah. And that's like
he's going to go, who are you?
That's what United need to start doing. getting players on their second or first contract as pros, 23-year-olds, 22-year-olds, up-and-coming players where they can build a relationship with the manager like Poch did, which I think is a tick for Poch. But that's a massive point. If we are running this club properly, part of running a club properly is giving the manager the right circumstances for him to succeed, but not just getting the best manager for the players you happen to have.
But if, like Jay says about Poch and that, he ain't won nothing, really, then shouldn't that apply to...
But the thing with Poch is Poch has had opportunities.
He's had 10 years to win something.
Being the top level of football, and we've seen him not quite get where he should have done or could have done in certain circumstances. McKenna's never had that opportunity.
But could you not argue that Poch is more prepared for this role than McKenna?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that is one plus side in Poch's sort of column. But I still feel like there is potential for McKenna to be one of the top.
He seems like
managers.
a very hands-on coach as well, doesn't he?
Poch
Where he'd be on the training pitch doing all the training.
He's a
and that's what United need.
And also feel like some of this sort of, will the players listen to him and will he have the authorities? A lot of that could come from the likes of Barada and Ashworth and Wilcox. They're like, look, he's our guy. If you're not on board with what he's doing, you can fuck off.
Also, a lot of that seems to come later. You know, like if you're great in training for the first month, I think players will be like, he's mental, but nothing to worry about. It's when you're like, what is this guy?
Yeah.
You know, or asking me to watch Jagielka, hold on.
Yeah. Or if you lose 4 out of 6 games when you were second and now you're fifth, that's when players start going, what we doing? And that's where you need, this manager was picked by this person, this person and this person. He's won 4 titles at City. This guy's been a success at England, at Newcastle, at West Brom, at Brighton. Like, that's where you need the structure above him to say, we like him, he's going to work, and that, you know, that's it. Let's move on to our final manager option here. Thomas Tuchel, of the list we've seen, the most decorated, the one who has won trophies at pretty much every club he's been at. I think every club he's been at, other than Mainz. He's someone that comes in, wins something, and leaves. He's a bit more maybe tactically modern, but he's very much of the sort of Jose Mourinho mould, where you come in, you win something, he falls out, and he leaves.
Yeah.
He's won the Champions League at Chelsea, very notably, obviously, when they were in 6th place in the league. Won the FIFA Club World Cup, won the Super Cup with them as well, won the Bundesliga last season, not this season, won a German Cup, 2 times French champion, got PSG to the Champions League final, won the French League Cup as well. He's clearly the most decorated on there. What do you make of Thomas Tuchel?
I respect the amount of trophies he's won, and obviously winning a Champions League can't be ignored, and also getting PSG to a Champions League final can't be ignored, because I think he's the only one that's ever done that as well. But I just feel that he is in a bit of decline. He's just had, Bayern Munich just had their worst season in 12 years or 13 years, whatever it is. Finished 3rd, miles behind Bayer Leverkusen. Champions League semi-final, okay, that's nothing wrong with that, but I don't think he covered himself in glory in that game either. And obviously he left Chelsea under a bit of a cloud. So, I don't know, short term, if you're going into a game and Thomas Tuchel's your manager, say going into a big game, I ain't got a problem with that. I think he could probably go.
He's the opposite.
He's done it with Pep Guardiola. He's gone toe-to-toe with him in the Champions League final, and he won. Yeah. So he's got the capabilities to go up against anyone. I just don't. It doesn't excite me as someone who I think, Manchester United now are moving forward. It just feels like we've gone back to the Jose Mourinho style appointment or Louis van Gaal, of an experienced head who's won some trophies, who's going to come in for a couple of years, steady this ship, and then we go again in 2026 or whatever. Yeah. And I'm against
you know how
that.
you seem to kind of suggest that he's failed at Bayern Munich? Or like,
I do think...
Do you not think, like, with the amount of managers that have rejected the role there and stuff, that there's something that we're not quite seeing that's going on at Bayern Munich?
I hear that.
It's very unlike any other Bayern Munich.
I hear there's a lot of politics and stuff that goes on. You're probably right. But even...
They hated Pep, didn't they?
Yeah. Even with that, I still feel like finishing 3rd and finishing so far behind. I know Leverkusen have had a phenomenal season. And also... his first season, they only got on the line on the last day. He won it. Yeah. But
Dortmund were top for
threw
a
it
lot
away.
of that season.
They had to win their last game and he didn't.
Yeah.
And then, like, the Champions League, you kind of think, okay, this could be a chance for him to show what he's about. And I felt like he fluffed his lines a little bit. Like, taking Kane off and stuff like that is a bit weird. I don't know. I just feel like with Tuchel, if Tuchel was the manager, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, why have we got Thomas Tuchel? I get it. It would just feel like, okay, we're going to go again in 2026 or whatever.
Yeah. It feels like a safe pick.
Yeah. In 2 years' time, we'll have another manager.
Yeah.
Like,
again, I think he's a young manager still, man. He's 50 years old. Like, he's still learning. He's still improving. And for someone that can win the Champions League and win the Bundesliga and do all those things, and he's only 50. Does that not show you there's more to come from him?
But there's a good point you make, because we're too quick.
Managers are never going to stay the same. They're always going to look to improve.
Obviously, getting to manage the top teams is a testament of a good manager. But he's also managed the best teams of all the managers we've looked at. Like, De Zerbi is never going to have won the league with the teams he's managed.
All due respect, when he went in at Chelsea and won the Champions League, that Chelsea was
Chelsea
shocking.
is exceptional, definitely. But winning the league with PSG and Bayern isn't what a manager that, like, if you'd have done it with Chelsea, for instance, which he did, and that is what a manager. But, like, those are teams that win the league every year in their league, and he did it with them. Like,
I feel
it's
like
good, but it's different to De Zerbi or McKenna or Poch, because they've not done that.
This
Although
is
Poch
easily
did at PSG anyway.
the safest pair of hands.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is. I think you're right. It's the only manager who's really got a trophy cabinet of any note. So if he was appointed, sound, but it wouldn't be like, that's it now, we're back, or we're going to be challenging for the next 3 or 4 years. I think he's someone who could come in and he could probably win you an FA Cup or something and get you back into the top 4, and it might be what you need. I just don't see him as a long term.
I disagree, you know. I especially, like, you look, Jurgen Klopp's gone. Pep's talking about he's going to get out there before them charges come falling down on him. Like, you're looking at the landscape of the Premier League now. He's better than most of the managers that are in there.
I agree.
Like,
that's a good point.
There's only really Pep
you
that
forget
you go,
about the managers that have gone.
You go, hold on a minute. Pep's better than him, all right.
Yeah.
But even then, in the biggest stage, when Pep and Tuchel came head to head, Tuchel won.
Yeah.
Like, I still do think, like, if should we rank the managers? Let's include Ten Hag in there. Is this the last one we're looking at?
Yeah,
sorry?
this is the last one.
So we got De Zerbi, Kieran, McDaddy, Poch.
Yeah.
Was that the 3 we looked at? And Tuchel.
And
then let's say Ten Hag. So there's 5.
5 managers. Rank those 5 managers, the top 5 managers for next season.
I'm going to do them without Ten Hag first, and then I'm going to add Ten Hag in.
Okay.
We'll just do 5 is whatever and have Ten Hag as well.
No.
Okay.
Do it my way. So, first choice for me would be Kieran McKenna.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't. It sounds mental. Would it? Yeah, it would be Kieran McKenna. Second would be Tuchel.
Yeah.
Third would be Poch. Fourth would be De Zerbi. Which means, do I want any of those to replace Ten Hag? Nah, stick Ten Hag at the top of the list.
Yeah. To be honest, I pretty much agree with that.
Yeah.
The only thing I would maybe do is put De Zerbi slightly ahead of Poch, but I'd go Poch at 5, De Zerbi at 4, Tuchel at 3, McKenna at 2.
That's why is Poch below.
Keeping Ten Hag at 1.
Yeah, I agree. My list is exactly the same as yours.
Yeah, the reason I put Poch below, and I think Poch is a good manager, and I think he sort of suits what we need, but I just think there's too much footage of him failing. I've seen it with my own eyes too much where he's underachieved. It is.
Why aren't managers allowed to fail?
Also,
and
these are all very good managers. That's the thing. I'm not saying he's not as good as Darren Ferguson or
like if a striker had won the Champions League, but then fizzled out at a club, you go,
give him another chance.
There's a player there.
I do think he's a good manager, Poch. I just think that it's the last few years he's just been in this wilderness where he's not properly found a home. The players and the fans don't always love him. And I don't see him as a winner, but maybe he works for the system. I think we keep Ten Hag.
And you've also got to bear in mind, Clear Lake and all those guys that are there at Chelsea, they are mental, bro. They made Tuchel go, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah,
this guy's talking about 4-4-3 formations and, we're defo in the Champions League next year, no matter where we finish. These guys ain't got a clue. You've got to kind of take their environment into the equation as well.
Yeah.
And like we don't really. It's like I was talking about Roy Keane the other day. I'm not saying appoint Roy Keane as Man United manager, but he was really good at Sunderland and Ipswich.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of gets painted with his
He's a nutter and he can't manage it.
Yeah, he did really well at those places. So I just kind of feel like, are we being too? Why don't we allow managers to have bad times and have to work their way through it and learn and all these kind of different things?
I do think that.
That kind of relays to Ten Hag.
Yeah, I agree perfectly with Ten Hag. I think especially now that football is more tactical and less about man management and controlling a club as a manager like Fergie did, I think allow for that a little bit more, where in the past, if players were falling out with the manager and he was going ballistic and losing the dressing room, eventually you start to go, well, he's going to come in and do the same at our club. Whereas now you go, his tactics probably didn't work with the players that he had. The owners weren't able to buy the players for the system. It's all systems now, isn't it? So I do think that you do give managers a bit more leeway to fail. You know, there aren't as many managers around the world who have got no blemishes on their CV. But I just think that these are all good managers, and if you're comparing their potential to each other, I feel like with Poch, I've just seen too much of him struggling and it not working and having to come up with excuses. And I think at United, people are going to turn on him very quickly.
I like Poch. I like Tuchel.
Yeah.
I like Kieran McKenna. I like the idea of the Zerbi, but I'm a little bit unsure about that one.
Yeah, me too.
But I like the idea of Ten Hag being allowed to be given some time and succeeding a little bit more than I do any of these things.
Do you think he will? I know we have this conversation back and forth, and if you'd asked me 10 days ago, I'd say
my opinion on the Marzio thing is separate from my opinion on whether Ten Hag survives.
Yeah, that's
like
factor in whatever you want into your...
Yeah, like I am very... It's like you say, the owners haven't really given us a reason to think that they will stick with him or they will sack him.
Yeah.
They haven't really given us that.
And at some point, enough time goes by where, for me, that starts to lead me to think
also, his
they'll sack
contract
him.
expires in, is it like end of next season?
Yeah, 12 months.
So surely it's almost time to be sitting down and negotiating that, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I always say, just give him till Christmas, man. Let's see where we're at the end of the year. But about 3 weeks ago, you looked at the options that were available and there weren't many. And now you're looking and you're going, Poch is available, Tuchel's available.
De Zerbi.
McKenna. Like suddenly there's a whole host of names available that could possibly... But I think no matter who you bring in, you're going to go through some hard times, man. And then what? You're going to say, oh, let's sack them.
I think that the difference maybe would be is that Ineos maybe are more likely to be willing to go through hard times with someone they picked. Whereas now we're trusting or hoping that they have the same opinion of Ten Hag that Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh
Well, you'd assume, right, from them guys being in the game, like the Ashworths and the Baradas and all that, they would be well aware of who Ten Hag is. Ten Hag was linked with Pep's job.
Yeah.
If like Pep was to leave and not sign a contract, if you remember. Who was there?
Barada.
You know, so there's linking those guys with the job there. They know about him. They're well aware of him. He's got a great reputation within football. Sometimes you just got to stand by your man.
Yeah. Great
Who
song.
sang that? Pat's Climb.
Maybe.
Dolly Parton.
I don't know who it is.
Feels like it's Dolly Parton.
No, it's a bit too singy for me.
Pat Klein?
Yeah.
Pat Klein's a goat, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Crazy's a banger.
It is. Right, let's call it a day there, I think. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Man United, it seems as though the tide has swung a little bit towards the end of Ten Hag. It could all change. It could go back. We could see a statement any time before or after the FA Cup final where they say Ten Hag will be here next season. We are planning for him to be here next season. For me, the longer it goes on, the more it looks like Ten Hag won't be here. Tammy Wynette.
Yeah. And Solskjaer's win it.
Very nice. Thank you for joining us. Thank you once again to Green King Sport for bringing you Off the Bar all season long. Make sure you click the link in the description. Go and check them out. Thank you, Adam. Jay has had to go. I don't know where he is now. If we just have a look, Jay's disappeared. But he thanks you for watching as well. Hit subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Went through the trapdoor.
Oh, yeah, there he is.